Hello YouTube, this is Mike Raup, the Danville Advisor. This is my first video of my hydroponics garden for 2016. If anybody's been seeing or watching my videos before, from 2 years ago, you'll see a lot of this looks familiar. Now I have made some changes, I've made some improvements, and want to go over them with everybody. This year I put in 20 tomato buckets, and rather than having a string across and trying to tie them up to the string like I did a couple years ago, I put stakes in every bucket. And this year I have Sweet 100 cherry tomatoes, Brandywine tomatoes, and Roma tomatoes across here. Like I said, I am tying them up as we go. Hopefully that'll work out better. Now in my tubes I have self-blanching celery. I have some garden leader peppers, which are doing not so good. Stonehead lettuce, which is totally disastrous. Actually, the lettuce is doing, or the stonehead cabbage is doing fine. The Great Lakes lettuce on the other side, I believe every one of those have died. And I have a couple extra tomato plants I put in here. Obviously, they still need tied up better. Now, what I did this year over last year was, last year was just such a disaster. All my tomato plants got blight, and I basically just scrapped the whole system. Didn't do hardly anything last year. Grew a lot of peppers, that nobody even around here likes. They were all hot peppers because honestly, when we got around to buying peppers, the only thing that was left was all the hot ones. So that's what we planned, just to get another grow year in and learn some more stuff. Last year my tubes were horizontal, similar to this. I run my pump 1 hour on, 1 hour off, and what I was having when they were tilted downhill is all the plants would get dry, then they get water and they pump right back up, and then they get dry, and so I ran it flat so it would hold water in there, probably about an inch and a half. What I had last year was I had inch drains, or I think it was actually 3/4 inch drains, and it wouldn't drain enough water, so I couldn't get enough water into the system without overflowing the tubes. It would just literally come out of the holes where every one of the cups went in. So I went to much bigger drains this year so I could run a lot more water through. The plants seem to like it a lot better. I can run a lot more water. And it still keeps me from running my pump full time. So that's doing pretty well. Pretty pleased with that. Now, down here with these boxes, my wife wanted cucumbers. So I got a couple types of cucumbers. I got sugar baby watermelons, yellow baby watermelons, and some leftovers of who knows what. Now, as you can see right away, I vastly overestimated how many plants I should put in here, and we just kind of filled every hole, which I have 12 different holes in each box. Now, this is just a runaway mess. And not only that, what I did with the cups is these are the very small cups. These are the 2-inch cups, and so I don't know if they'll limit the growth potential of these or not. The big cups are up here. These are, they're 3.5 inch. But down here they're quite small. But as you can see, they don't seem to be suffering any. I don't know what'll happen when they get larger. Now, for next year, this is a learning curve. Next year, what I'll be doing is I'll probably be planting 3 plants in each box, so I'll have 9 plants total. It'll be spread out, get lots more room. But just to give you an idea, there's some cucumbers already. And there's lots of things growing. Check out my little watermelons. Are they cool or what? Now, because of the root system in this system, they're so large that I can't even lift. I like to lift these out and actually take a look at the roots or lift up an end, but they're just way too big and way too heavy. So I'm just going to leave it alone and just keep putting fresh water in when it gets low. One of the things, there's a neat little plant and lots of neat stuff going on. Anyway, that's my system for this year. One thing, my lettuce did not like the fertilizer mix at all. I'm just using the same tomato master blend that is on MPH Gardener's site. I mix it exactly like he says. I mix it and I keep it in Ziploc baggies and mix it up for 5 gallons of water at a time. So that makes it easy when I go to fill my barrel or whatever. I can just, say, okay, my barrel's 45 gallons of water in there, and just put in the appropriate number of baggies. So that's good. Now this crazy lettuce. Now the head lettuce that I put in is pretty much all history. None of it survived. There's just a tiny bit of one that's doing the best, but that is it. Everything else, as you can see, every other plant here is done. My lettuce up top's doing good, but for some reason, and I don't know what it is, the peppers did not do well this year. Maybe it's the type of peppers. I've always had really good luck with peppers. Peppers are just about as easy to grow here as my tomatoes. But these pepper plants, I think there's 4 of them, they're not looking too healthy. Now some of the plants up top have already gone to seed, and I hate to admit it, but I don't even know for sure what they are. I kept no track at all when I plant them. This is just, my wife handed me a plant, I put it in a box. Put it in a tube, and that's what it was. So anyway, got a good start. Things are going a lot better than they are last year. I put all new buckets in, so in case there was any blight left in my system, I got rid of it. Took away all my piping, my sprinkler lines, my water lines, and threw it all away just in case there was anything still in the system, which I'd rather doubt, but better safe than sorry. Did you reuse my tubes? I think next year I'm talking about getting rid of the boxes or mounting them lower and putting a 3rd row of tubes in. So I can get another 26 plants in on the tubes. I've also talked to my wife about putting a greenhouse over this whole back. What I want to do is start down here, somewhere around the end of this window, come out with some 1-inch metal conduit from right under the soffit, come out and then bend it and come down somewhere about where I'm standing, right about where the dogs are at. And that way I can cover it with plastic and keep any water out of my system. What I had, not so much this year, it's not rained a whole lot. Last year I had so much rain that my water would get so diluted because the water would just literally fill up my buckets. Well, my buckets weren't here last year, sorry. My tubes, the water would run the tubes and it would literally add 5 or 10 gallons at a time into my barrel. It was just crazy. My boxes, I'd have to use a siphon and siphon water out literally every couple days because it was getting too full. And then my fertilizer mix would be all, guesstimated at best. It was terrible. This year we haven't had much rain. We did have rain a few times, and believe it or not, just from that little gap from where this goes in, I had water blow in past my OSB into that little gap and literally soak half my garage floor. So we had a tremendous amount of raining at 1 or 2 times, but it's not been consistent. So I didn't really pick up a lot of rain that way. Anyway, there's my system. Did a little bit different with the drains because of the diameters. I did put the drains offset at the bottom, as you can see. So what I could do there is make sure I could turn those up if I need to keep the water deeper. I could just rotate this way, and that'll raise this and raise the bottom of the drain. So I can actually get, I can get water down here. Well, I can literally keep the water level up as high as I want. Now, what I have now is probably an inch and a half in each one. Seems to really work well. Now, the plants are liking it. We've had some 90-degree days. And the plants, obviously, I don't think they're looking like they're suffering at all. The plants are looking healthy. Again, I don't run the pump all the time. I run it an hour on, hour off. It's a Harbor Freight sump pump. And it's probably way too big for the system I have. I could probably double or triple this system with the pump I have and run it wide open. As you can see, my valves are pretty much shut off. I'm about halfway shut off, or a little over half. So I could run a lot more water through if I need to. And the pump certainly keeps up. Now, I have, again, like I did last year, there's nothing here glued. I think I glued a couple fittings at the drain. I think I glued, matter of fact, I know I glued this in place. And that's it. This is glued inside here. And that's it. Everything else is just fit together. That way it allows me to change the systems I want. If next year I decide I want to do something different, I can change it. I have no leaks this year. I mean, last year I went through a whole lot of caulking around the tubes. I have just a tiny bit, but nothing worth mentioning. So I'm pretty happy with that. Water usage has gone way down by having more water kept in the tubes, because the plants don't suck it up so often. You know, every time they get a chance, the first year they were getting totally dry and they'd suck up all the water, and then I could literally use 20 gallons sometimes a day, sometimes every other day. This year I've had to fill a couple times, but not much. So pretty pleased. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please, post it in the comment section. I gladly go over anything that I've done. I'm certainly no expert. I'm learning as I go and making mistakes, and hopefully you guys can learn from all my mistakes. And anyway, I find it very interesting, enjoying myself, and can't wait to see what this year does. So, have a great day and take care.